guess I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, Jack?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I bombed a bomber much tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What you doing?
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. So salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, the life and career of the baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. The baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. We're going to do the profile today since we had the technical difficulties and didn't get them in Friday. We had all the slides for Barrera in there, so we're going to do it today. Tomorrow, we're going to remember Mike McCallum, another boxer, passed away this weekend. We just did Nino Benvenuti last week, remember? So remembering Mike McCallum tomorrow. But how's everybody today? Mike Grimm in the building. What's up, Mike? Yeah, we're gonna do the profile from Friday today. But salute Mike Grimm. We're right back at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. We're gonna do remembering Mike McCallum tomorrow. Passed away over the weekend. Wednesday, we're gonna talk about trainers. Thursday, we winding down on the boxing in the States. Is going to be Wisconsin. And then Friday, the regular profile day is going to be the life and career of the great Dick Tiger. And so we're going to have 3 profiles this week. Today is the one from Friday. Tomorrow, remembering Mike McCallum. And then the real profile Friday is going to be Dick Tiger this week. Okay? But first, for the highlights of boxing history today, we're going to look at 10 boxing records that will never be broken. 10 boxing records that will never be broken. And we're in June, and we got some big ones coming up this month. Though we got another DB3 card this month. Keyshawn and his brothers. Abdullah Mason on the card. He's taking his biggest step up to date. Jeremiah Nakathila. That'll be a big test for the youngster. I think he'll pass it. He probably get Jeremiah up out of there. Muratala got him up out of there, so I think Abdullah will get him too. But how was everybody's weekend? Good to see everybody back on this side of it. They came out yesterday, so hopefully the technical difficulties are ironed out. That's why we're doing Marco Antonio Barrera, the baby-faced assassin, one of the 4 kings of the 2000s, along with Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, and Manny Pacquiao. Barrera, those guys actually fought. Only one combination out of all the possibilities between the 4, Morales and Marquez, didn't meet up. They had 13 fights, more than the original 4 kings. Well, that's the 4 kings of the 2000s right there. Okay. And big week of boxing history coming up right at the beginning of it. Okay, we got Miss Cass, Mike Grimm in the building so far, and Crush, the legend. Salute Crush the legend. Coffee and the donuts, 6 a.m. in the morning, Monday through Friday. Okay? Yeah, Crush, we're going to do the profile from Friday since we had those technical difficulties and didn't get it in. And then remembering the body snatcher. Tomorrow, we're going to look at the life and career of Mike McCallum, okay? The body snatcher. He got that name because he had a serious body attack, the body snatcher. That's what they called him. Passed away 68 years old yesterday. Over the weekend. He was, I think he was riding in his car and started feeling sick. I think they got into the hospital. He was unresponsive. I think he passed away at the hospital. But we're going to talk about it tomorrow. The body snatcher. Remembering the body snatcher, Mike McCallum. But right now, we're going to get into the highlights of boxing history for today. Take it to 2:30. And it's going to be 10 boxing records that will never be broken. Okay? I think these records are untouchable. So let's get into the highlights of boxing history. How's everybody today? Hope everybody had a great weekend. So the Sweet Hands, Maul back in there. At least Maul is back in there, And we need to get Maul and Sweet Hands to hook up. They got the history, the smack, ready-made promotion. So I think they ready for next. Maul looked pretty good, for somebody. When has he been out? Like 2 years? Look pretty good. Look better than some of these guys have been fighting regular. So and Maul and Sweet Hands, I would lean toward Maul. If Maul is 100% the Maul, the Jamal, I would have to lean toward Jamal. Get Sweet Hands in them deep waters. Yeah, Crush, he did look good, didn't he? Get Sweet Hand in them deep waters and drown him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would lean toward Jamal in that one if they get it hooked up. I think they both are PBC, right? So it shouldn't be hard to make. I think they both under the same banner. Both of them managed by Al Heyman, I think. Sweet Hands fight for PBC too. So it shouldn't be that hard to make. You said, Crush says he stops him. Yeah, Crush, I think so because he's gonna get Caleb in them late rounds, and Caleb gas tank gonna fail him as usual, and Maul gonna get him up out of there. I think so, like 8, 9ish, something like that. Yeah, I would have to agree with that one. Yeah. Okay, let's get into the 10 boxing records that will never be broken. Okay. Okay, so now Wilfred Benitez became the youngest world champion at 17, age 17. And that still stands today. And guess what? That will definitely never be broken because they changed the rules. You got to be 18 to be a pro boxer now. So that will never be broken. Nobody can even turn pro at 17. So yeah, that's safe. That one is safe. Bernard Hopkins became the oldest world champion at 49. Defying age and rewriting the record books. So you got to be 50. So I don't think we're going to see anybody winning any titles at 50 anymore. So I think that one is safe. And Manny Pacquiao holds the record for the most world titles in different weight classes, which is a remarkable accomplishment, 8 weight classes. But that might not be safe because Amanda Serrano got 7. And she's still active. So if she beats Katie Taylor, what's that, junior welterweight or something? I think that'd be 8 for Amanda if she wins this fight against Katie Taylor next month. So that Manny, I don't know if that 8 weight classes is safe because Amanda got 7 and she's still active. So I don't know about that. But certain records are destined to be shattered. But within the realm of boxing, some prove exceedingly improbable or downright unattainable. Like Benitez's, because you got to be 18 now, so nobody gonna even turn pro at 17, so that wasn't safe. And the sport, I think B-Hops is too. Nobody gonna win no. He's 49. You got to be 50 to break. There ain't nobody gonna get none at 50 anymore. Nah, I don't think so. Poro, what's up, bro? How you doing today? Poro is in the building. Poro, sir. We're gonna get some link time at the end. Poro usually comes up and brings some of that boxing knowledge up here on the panel. But yeah, B-Hop, 49, that's probably safe too. Now the sport has witnessed a transformative journey in its rules, progressing from a time when rounds were exclusively scored based on knockdowns to the implementation of a 10-point must system. Now world titles have transformed by the number, and the standard number of rounds in a fight has shifted from 15 to 12 or even 10. Even 10, okay? And whether it involves establishing a record for the most consecutive victories or sustaining the lengthiest championship reign, these achievements underscore the extraordinary skill of boxers and the continual metamorphosis of boxing. Now, some pugilists with insurmountable records go back to the bygone era, while others belong to the contemporary cohort of fighters who have etched their names in the Guinness World Records book. So let's start it. Wilfred Benitez, 17. That's safe because I think you got to be 18 now to be a pro boxer. So yeah, Wilfred at 17, youngest ever, will always be. Wilfred Benitez, youngest world champion. The Puerto Rican sensation won a world title at age 17. Wow. He was still in high school. As a matter of fact, some of his high school classmates were at the fight when he won the title. Now, while Mike Tyson is celebrated for securing a world title at the tender age of 20, the spotlight of the youngest world champion in boxing history belongs to Wilfred Benitez, who achieved this remarkable feat at the age of 17. This record stands unassailable today, like I was saying, as the minimum age for a pro fighter in the United States and various other countries is now set at 18. Okay? So yeah. At the age of 17, Benitez challenged 30-year-old WBA junior welterweight champion Antonio Cervantes, who had an impressive track record of numerous title defenses in 1976. In a historic fight, Benitez emerged victorious, seizing his first world title, becoming boxing's youngest world champion ever, age 17. And Benitez went on to become a world champion in 3 different weight classes, right? And the Puerto Rican legend suffers from post-traumatic encephalitis due to numerous punches to the head. Yeah, I think he's in a wheelchair or something now, I think. But he's got that encephalitis. I think there's some form of we mentioned pugilistica, right? Yeah, but okay. Yeah, Wolford. But it came from numerous punches to the head. Yeah, the brain is in the head. That's not meant to be punched on, so you know. But Nate's Bernard Hopkins. B-Hop. Bernard Hopkins is the oldest world champion. B-Hop picked up a world title at 49 years old, man. 49. Imagine that in the ring at 49, fighting. In great shape, too. He was one of those people like a Tom Brady or Michael Jordan, somebody that's religiously keep in shape. You know, B-Hop come from that mode, you know. A Rocky Marciano, yeah, that's crazy about conditioning. In 2011, Bernard Hopkins achieved a historic victory by defeating John Pascal through a unanimous decision, claiming a lineal WBC and the ring light heavyweight championships. This triumph earned Hopkins the distinction of becoming the oldest man in the history of boxing to secure a major world title. He was at 46 then, 46 years, 4 months, and 6 days. He surpassed the previous record held by Big George Foreman, who had won a world title at 45 years old, right? And so then, Hopkins continued to defy age and break records. In 2013, he broke his own record by defeating Tavoris Cloud, reaffirming his status as the oldest world champion in boxing history. Hopkins, however, wasn't finished because I think he was 48 on that one, right? 48 or 47 or 40. I think it was 48 on that one. And then he wasn't finished. At the age of 49, he once again shatters his own record by winning the WBA title from Babu Chumanov, further solidified his legacy as one of the sport's enduring and exceptional fighters. Yeah, Bernard Hopkins, 49. I think that's safe. Now, yeah. Next is Manny. Manny got 8 weight classes. That might not be safe though, because I told you, Amanda Serrano got 7. And she's still active, right? Now, Manny Pacquiao, most world titles in different weight classes. Manny is boxing's only 8 division champion. Yep, the Pac-Man. And getting ready to get back in there. But he already got one at welterweight, so that won't be 9. If he beats Barrios, that won't be number 9 because welterweight is already one of the 8. Right? So Manny Pacquiao stands alone in the boxing world, holding the remarkable distinction of being the only fighter to claim a major world title in 8 different weight classes. Right? His extraordinary journey began as a flyweight, and he continued to ascend through the weight divisions, accumulating titles at super bantamweight, featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, junior welterweight, and junior middleweight. Started at flyweight, 112, all the way up to 154. Right? What's that? 42 pounds? Right? Yeah. Now, Pacquiao's distinct versatility and power put him in the record books with an unbelievable record. He became the oldest welterweight champion at age 40 with his win over Keith Thurman. He became a 4-weight world champion from flyweight to featherweight in just over 4 years. Okay? The Pac-Man. I hope Barrios. I'm going into that. Okay, next. Vic Towell. Vic Towell. I ain't gonna hate on Manny. Daring to be great, I guess. Vic Towell. Vic has the most knockdowns in a world title fight. There's Vic down there. See him? Most knockdowns in a world title fight. He knocked down his opponent 14 times in one fight. 14 times in one fight. Let's talk about Vic. I don't know if that record will ever be broken. 14 times in one fight. That's more than once per round. I guess they was fighting 15 back then though, so. I guess he had a knockdown every round except one. The boxer Victor Will etched his name into the Guinness World Records for achieving the most knockdowns in a fight. It was a 10-round fight. In a 10-round fight in 1950, he sent Danny O'Sullivan to the canvas 14 times. This record, however, is highly unlikely to be surpassed in the modern era of boxing. The implementation of the 3 knockdown rule, coupled with a prevailing emphasis on fighter safety and a more cautious approach when a boxer has endured significant punishment, makes Tyrell's feat a unique and enduring achievement. He was the first South African to hold a world championship belt. Also the first South African to win a title. And then Muhammad Ali was the 3-time lineal heavyweight champion. No one else has been lineal. Evander Holyfield is 4-time heavyweight champion, but I don't think he was lineal 3 different times. Ali beat the man to beat the man 3 times. Ali claimed the world heavyweight boxing title 3 times. Lineal champion. Muhammad Ali stands alone in the history of heavyweight boxing as the only 3-time lineal champion, achieved by triumphing over Sonny Liston. Remember, Sonny had beat Floyd Patterson. George Foreman, George had beat Frazier, and Leon Spinks. Leon Spinks had beat Ali. And then Ali beat Spinks, so he was the man to beat the man, right? That makes him lineal, right? He was in the line twice, right? But it was lineal. Now, because lineal was the man to beat the man, Ali just happened to be in the line twice. Spinks beat him, then he beat Spinks. That's lineal. So the lineal championship is defined by a fighter defeating the reigning champion in a match at a specific weight class. Due to the uncertainties and disagreements surrounding the continuity and definition of a lineal championship, Ali's feat is a remarkable and likely unbreakable achievement in the world of boxing. 3-time lineal champion. And Ali ended his career with a record of 56 wins, 5 losses, with 8 heavyweight world title wins and 19 successful title defense fights. Ali lost 43 months of his prime in exile due to his opposition to the Vietnam War. And the most incredible thing about Ali, he had 11 rematches in his career, didn't lose none of them. 11 rematches, no losses. So, and that comes from good trainer too, all about adjustments. You know, winning all those rematches like that, 11 rematches, no losses. Well, Muhammad. Okay, we winding down. Now, Billy Bird. You always hear me talk about Archie Moore's number 2 on that 132 at knockout. Here's the man that's number 1, Billy Bird. Most knockout wins in a career. Bird knocked out over 130 opponents. I'll give you an exact number in a minute. The title of the most knockouts in the history of boxing belongs to the British boxer Billy Bird, who achieved a staggering 139 knockouts out of his 356 pro fights during the 20th century. Yeah, that's definitely unbreakable, because nobody's even going to fight 139 times anymore, let alone knock out 139 people, right? So that's safe. In the landscape of modern boxing, it's uncommon for fighters to accumulate as many fights, let alone knockouts, making Bird's record highly improbable to be surpassed. Now, they say nothing's impossible, but that's impossible for somebody to break that record. That's impossible. And Billy Bird never won a world title, never won a championship in 356 fights. Wow, that's hard to believe. And none of those, and during that era, now I bet you he fought champions, but a lot of times the champion was designated as a non-title fight. They don't, nowadays, champion, every fight is a title fight. But back then, a lot of times the champion would say, well, this is a non-title fight, right? So, and yeah, I'm sure he fought some champions, but, never in a title fight. Yep, never won a world title. Henry Armstrong. CTE. Thank you, Perro, sir. CTE, yeah. We was talking about Benitez, right? Yep, CTE. That's it. I was looking for that word, but I couldn't come up with it. But thank you for PCTE. Okay, Henry Armstrong, 3 world titles in 3 divisions simultaneously. I don't think that will ever be broken either. Armstrong is regarded as one of the greatest of all time. He's up there. I have like Ali, Sugar Ray, and then it's hard choice between Armstrong and Willie Pep for 3. Willie Pep or Armstrong, whichever one you pick, I ain't mad at you. But one of them will have to be 3. You know, if you're talking about top 5, yeah, Willie Pep or Henry Armstrong. 3 and 4. I can't call the order. Now, Henry Armstrong made boxing history as the first and only man to concurrently hold 3 titles in 3 different divisions. In 1937, he secured the featherweight world title, 126. This is what makes this incredible, by defeating Petey Saron. The following year, Armstrong claimed the welterweight world title from Barney Ross, 147. 21 pounds, he was defending both of them simultaneously. And in his very next fight in 1938, he further solidified his unprecedented achievement by winning the lightweight world title against Lou Ambers, 135. He had 126 and 147 at the same time, right? Incredible. However, with the current mandatory defense schedule requiring fighters to defend titles in each weight division at least once every 9 months, and the modern trend of scheduling title fights several months apart, it appears highly improbable for any contemporary boxer to replicate such an accomplishment. It's impossible. Armstrong defended his welterweight title 19 times. He was the Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year in 1937. Okay, then a couple more. We go way back. Lynn Wickwar. You know, a lot of these records are way back because they fought a lot more. That's why all the knockouts and all that kind of stuff. Lynn Wickwar had the most fights, the most verified pro fights, because people claimed they had more, but that was early in the 20th century, 1900s, and records were kind of sketchy. But Lynn Wickwar had verified, you know. Wickwar also had the most wins in professional boxing. This man had officially, okay, lightweight Lynn Wickwar boasts the distinction of having the most verified pro fights and the highest number of wins among all boxers. Yeah, it's on there. My bad. 467 fights. Wow. 33 from 500. That's crazy. From 1928 to 1947, 19 years, Wickwar amassed an extraordinary record of 342 wins, 86 losses, and 43 draws, totaling an astonishing 470 fights. 467, 470, what's the difference? You know, wow. In an era where even the most active journeyman typically accomplished around 100 fights in their career, Wickwar's record stands as a testament to its unparalleled durability and longevity in the ring. His feat is not only impressive across any era, but is considered an untouchable record in the landscape of modern boxing. Yeah, it's impossible for that to be broken too. And he fought over 4,000 rounds in his career. 93 of his wins came by the way of knockout. Lynn Wickwar, just got 2 more. And this is the longest championship fight, Joe Gans and Bentley Nelson. Now, I know of a fight that was 110 rounds, but it wasn't a championship fight. Joe Gans versus Bentley Nelson, yeah, there they go right there, is the longest world title fight ever. Longest world title fight. Joe Gans, the inaugural African-American boxing champion, and Bentley Nelson etched their names in history for engaging in the longest boxing match on record, championship fight. In 1906, their epic battle lasted an astounding 42 rounds, spanning 2 hours and 48 minutes. This marathon fight, however, occurred under different rules compared to modern boxing. In the contemporary era, fights adhered to the Queensberry rule, limiting the duration to 12 rounds in 36 minutes, 3 rounds a minute, right? I mean, three minutes a round. 3 rounds a minute, 3 minutes a round. Now, given this restriction, the enduring record set by Gans and Nelson in 1906 stands as an unbreakable record. And then, guess what? Joe Gans broke his arm in the 34th round and fought the last 8 rounds with a broken arm. Gans was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990 in the old timers category. Stands among the greatest lightweight boxers of all time. And number 1, this is the final one. I gotta drop that music in a minute too. Tony Canzoneri, shortest reign as world heavyweight champion, shortest reign. But Canzoneri held 5 world titles in his career. This shortest reign was just one of them. International Boxing Hall of Famer. In 1933, Tony Canzoneri held the world lightweight title, junior welterweight title, 140, for just 33 days. 33 days. That's amazing to even have 2 fights in that period of time, right? Etching his name in the history books as the shortest reign for any world champion in history. He lost the title to Barney Ross in a majority decision loss 33 days after he won it, right? Despite the unadmirable record, Canzoneri was a 3-division world champion and ranked among the greats. Canzoneri lost to Barney Ross in the rematch for the junior welterweight title. So he took it from Ross, then 33 days later he gave the rematch. That will never be broken because who's going to win a title and then fight again 33 days later anymore? Nobody. Okay, there you have it. 10 unbreakable records. Now, the one by Manny, I don't know that like I said, Amanda Serrano got 7, and she's still active. So that 8 might be, And I think if she beat Katie next month, there will be 8. I don't think she's ever been at that. I think Katie got junior welterweight, right? I don't think Amanda's ever had it at 140. I think I'm gonna have to check into that, but yeah, I believe that will be 8 if Amanda can win next month. She will tie Manny. And one more, go up to welterweight, that's 10 for Amanda. So we'll see about that. Mr. Manny Pacquiao. And if Manny beats Barrios, there will not be 9 because that welterweight is already one of those 8. He's already got welterweight before. Remember, he beat Keith Thurman, became the oldest at 40, remember? So even if he beats Barrios, that's still 8. Okay. And he has junior middleweight, and he ain't going to no super middleweight, no way. See Manny fighting at 160. Okay, let's get started with the man, Marco Antonio Barrera, the babyface assassin, one of the 4 kings of the 2000s. Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, and Manny Pacquiao. We did Morales, Marquez, and Pacquiao. So this is the final one of the 4 kings of the 2000s. The baby-faced assassin. Marco Antonio Barrera. Bad man. Now I got to get my tablet off the charger because that thing goes down so fast. I had to keep it on the charger until I get ready for it. It's only going to take me it's right there. 2 seconds. Count from 5 backwards. I'll be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This thing can be at 100. You can see it going down. Okay, here we go. Marco Antonio Barrera. Now this is not Friday is a normal profile day, but remember Friday we had all those problems. I had them out here yesterday working on it, on Sunday. I'm gonna get Judge Judy or somebody on them. All that money I'm paying them, my Wi-Fi keep going out. I want to be on Judge Judy. Okay. Life and career, Marco Antonio Barrera, the baby-faced assassin. Okay, let's go. Okay, that's not too loud, is it? I don't think. Okay, Marco Antonio Barrera. He was born January 17th, 1974. He's a Mexican former professional boxer He competed from 1989 to 2011. He had a 22-year career. He held multiple world championships in 3 weight classes between 1995 and 2007, from super bantamweight to super featherweight. Okay, 3-weight world champion Marco was. And called the baby-faced assassin. He fought in 5 different weight classes. He fought at super flyweight, super bantamweight, featherweight, super featherweight, and lightweight. He was a champion in 3 of them. Super bantamweight, 122. Super featherweight, 126. Featherweight, 126. Super featherweight, 130. He was 5'6" tall, had a 70-inch reach, and he fought in the orthodox stance. He had a total of 75 fights in his professional career. He won 67. He lost 7. He had 1 no contest, 44 by the knockout route for the baby-faced assassin. Okay? And we have a little time at the end. We're going to talk about some of the other 4 kings of the 2000s, like Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, and Manny Pacquiao. Right? These guys, I call them the 4 kings of the 2000s because they had 13 fights between them. Only one combination of the 4 didn't fight was Morales and Marquez. But 13, they had more fights than the original 4 kings. So yeah, but okay. After a brief retirement, after losing twice to Junior Jones, Barrera revived his career with a trilogy against Eric Morales and a win against Nassim Hamed, earning him the Ring Magazine featherweight title. Now, he lost this title in his first fight against Manny Pacquiao. Now, BoxRec currently ranks Barrera 55th in its list of the greatest boxers of all time, pound for pound. This is where we stopped at Friday, right here. Okay. ESPN ranked Barrera as 43rd on their list of the 50 greatest boxers of all time. And he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2017. First ballot, of course. The baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. Okay? Let's continue. Let's touch on his amateur career real quick. Now, as an amateur, Barrera had a record of 104 wins and 4 losses, and he was a 5-time Mexican national champion. Before losing his first amateur fight, Barrera had an undefeated record of 56-0. Okay, won 56 amateur fights before losing his first one. Okay, let's talk about the baby-faced assassin in the professional ranks. Started out as super flyweight. Okay. Now he did go back to super bantamweight, but he started at super flyweight, which was no. Super flyweight is 115. What am I talking about? Follow the script. Started at 115 super flyweight. Now, Barrera made his pro debut at 15 years old when he defeated David Felix by a knockout in round 2 on November 22nd, 1989. The win marked the beginning of a 43-fight winning streak, with his first 43 out the gate. In 1990, Barrera had 7 fights. This is second year in the game, 7 fights, including his first rise in quality opposition when he defeated veteran Ivan Salazar by a decision in 8 rounds. In 1991, he had 7 more fights, defeating Abel Hinojosa and Javier Diaz and others. Okay, but those were the 2 biggest names he had in his 3rd year, 1991. Now, Barrera began 1992 by winning his first professional title. He beat Justino Suarez by a decision in 12 rounds to win the Mexican Super Flyweight Championship, 115. He retained the title 3 times before the end of the year, which helped improve his ranking in the Super Flyweight division. And that Mexican title goes way back. They had that way back in the early 1900s. That was back there with the NBA and the when the WBA was the NBA and the New York State Athletic Commission was a sanctioning body. The Mexican titles go way back there. Okay. But anyway, he also defeated former world champion Eddie Cook before the end of the year, 1994. Okay, so that's like his 5th year as a pro. So now his first major title, first major world title, okay, which was at super bantamweight, 122, for the babyface assassin. What's up, Al Booger? Yeah, we moved the babyface assassin to the day, AB, since we didn't get it in Friday. I had him out here yesterday working. Hopefully we can do this today. Okay, but salute Al Booger. Okay, Barrera's first major title, super bantamweight. Okay, now he began 1995 by fighting for a world title. First fight 95. On March 31st, he became the WBO super bantamweight champion by defeating Puerto Rican boxer Daniel Sobrita Jimenez by decision in 12 rounds at Anaheim, California. By this time, many boxing journalists were calling Barrera Mexico's next Julio Cesar Chavez. Okay, yeah, they had had high hopes, man, and yeah, I think he had a very, very good, excellent career too. They were calling Mexico's next Julio Cesar Chavez around the time he won his first title, which was super bantamweight in 1995. Yeah, I don't think he disappointed either. Now, he made 4 defenses before the year was over. On June 2nd, 1995, he defeated future champion Frank Toledo by a second-round knockout. Then he knocked Toledo down twice before the fight was stopped. Knocked him down 2 times before the second-round stoppage. Thomas Hill. What's up, Thomas Hill? In the building. Every time I look at the chat phone, I lose my place. But salute, T. Hill. How are you today? Yeah, we moved the profile to today, T. Hill. You know what happened Friday? It was all messed up. So the music scared me. So we're going to have 3 profiles this week because tomorrow we're going to remember Mike McCallum, the body snatcher, passed away over the weekend. Then the regular profile Friday going to be the legendary Dick Tiger. So yeah, this is the first of 3 this week. Okay, now where was I at? Every time I look to see somebody come in, I lose my place. Yeah, he made 4 defenses that year. Okay, yeah, he stopped Frank Toledo, knocked him down twice, and the fight was stopped in the second round. Made 4 defenses that year. On July 15th, 1995, Barrera scored a first-round knockout win over Maui Diaz. Right? In his next fight, he won a 12-round unanimous decision over future champion Agapito Sanchez. Then, on February 6, 1996, he fought on the first installment of HBO Boxing spinoff series, HBO Boxing After Dark. Barrera was on the first installment of that. In one of the fights of the year, Barrera stopped Kennedy McKinney in 12 rounds, knocking him down 5 times while suffering 1 knockdown himself. And Kennedy McKinney was a big name around that time, so that was a big win for Barrera right there. Yes, it was, Kennedy McKinney. After the McKinney fight, he defeated former WBO champion Jesse Benavidez by a 3rd-round knockout. So he's getting in there with some big names. On July 14th, 1996, he defeated another former champion, Orlando Fernandez, by 7th round TKO. Okay? So then he had a loss to Junior Jones. Let's talk about the loss to Junior Jones. Okay? I believe that was his first loss as a pro. Let's talk about it. Lost to Junior Jones. On November 22nd, 1996, that was his first, he suffered his first career loss and lost his title to American boxer Junior Jones by disqualification in round 5. Now, Barrera was knocked down in round 5 by Jones and was declared the loser by disqualification and not by knockout because Barrera's cornerman climbed onto the ring to stop the fight as Jones was finishing Barrera. So it should have been a TKO. I don't get the disqualification. The man was climbing on the apron and stopped the fight. I wonder who was refereeing that fight. Probably Richard Steele. The cornerman was climbing on the apron to stop the fight. Then they're going to disqualify the man. Aren't you allowed to climb on the apron and stop the fight? That's crazy. That was a crazy decision then. Crazy decision. So he got disqualified. It should have been a TKO. But anyway, he lost his title in that fight. On April 18th, 1997, he was given a chance to regain his title, facing Jones in a rematch in Las Vegas. Barrera was defeated by a unanimous decision this time. The fans thought was very controversial, right? But Barrera retired from boxing after that fight, right? So then let's talk about the comeback trail. He did come back. You know, he was too young to stay retired. Just one loss. Everybody knew Barrera was coming back. Everybody knew he was coming back. Our Booger says, no, it wasn't the illustrious Hall of Famer, Richard Steele. Okay. I apologize. It wasn't Richard Steele that time. But it was a bad call, though, man. I mean, the man's cornerman was climbing on the apron to stop the fight. How are you going to disqualify the man? Give the man a chance to stop the fight, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. That should have been overturned. I mean, he still lost, but it should have been a TKO, not disqualification. That's all I'm saying. Now, comeback trail. Now, Barrera announced a comeback, and everybody knew he was coming back. He only had one loss, and he was still young then, you know. So he just was a little disappointed, you know, and retired. But he came back. 1998, a year later. And he started off by defeating Angel Rosario by a knockout in round 5. After 2 more wins, he was given another opportunity to fight for a world title by the WBO. That's the one he had in the first place, wasn't it? Now, on October 31st, he became a 2-time world super bantamweight champion by defeating Richie Winton by a knockout in 3 rounds, winning the WBO's vacant title. Okay? I don't know what happened to Junior Jones. Junior Jones had it, but it was vacant when Barrera came back. Now, in 1999, he had 2 title defenses, and then he ran into controversy. Okay? On December 18th, he defeated Cesar Najera in 4 rounds in California, right? But upon finding out that Najera had a losing record and was part of Barrera's team, the California State Athletic Commission decided to rule the fight a no contest fight. Yeah, I don't understand that either. Part of your team, but he's still a pro boxer, right? And you're defending the title against him. So they declared it a no contest. Barrera versus Morales won. Okay. Yeah, he had a trilogy with Morales. This is the first one. 3 great fights. Barrera versus Morales won. And that is crazy, ain't it, Booger? Wow. But yeah, I don't know how they disqualified it when the man was climbing on the ring apron to stop the fight. I'll never understand that. But Barrera versus Morales won. We covered these when we did Morales' profile, but look at it from Barrera's side. Okay. In February 2000, Barrera was defeated by the WBC Super Bantamweight title holder, Eric Morales, by a controversial 12-round split decision. Wow, Barrera was mixed up. There was a lot of controversy surrounding his fights, but not his fault. A lot of them was bad calls and stuff. But he lost to Morales by a controversial 12-round split decision. It was an intense battle in which both fighters were cut and battered. And Ring Magazine named this one the Fight of the Year, right? Barrera Morales won was Fight of the Year, okay? Now, after the fight, the WBO reinstated Barrera as their champion, and he defended the title 3 additional times. On June 17th, 2000, he defeated Luis Freitas, right, by a first-round knockout. In his next fight, he defeated Jose Luis Barrera by a 12-round unanimous decision. Then on December 1st, 2000, he scored a 6th-round knockout over former world champion Jesus Salud. So now here comes a beatdown of Hamed. That was a beatdown. This was at featherweight, 126. I think this was his first fight at featherweight. Okay, the beatdown of the Prince, and that was a beatdown, wasn't it, T. Hill? Barrera versus Hamed at featherweight. In 2001, first fight at featherweight. Barrera moved up weight divisions to featherweight. On April 7th, he had the British boxer Nassim Hamed his first and only loss for the lineal featherweight championship by a 12-round decision. I think Prince retired after that. Never came back. That was the only loss of his career. Now, before the fight, Prince Hamed was a 3-1 betting favorite in Las Vegas. But Hamed could not hit Barrera with his trademark lefts, as Barrera circled to his left and worked both head and body. And Barrera was not a fan of Hamed's antics, because, Hamed had all kinds of stuff he would do. But Barrera was not a fan of these antics, and he responded to Hamed's punches during clinches. On one occasion early in the fight, Hamed grabbed Barrera, and they both fell to the mat, where Barrera threw a right jab, leading to a warning from referee Joe Cortez, great referee too, Joe Cortez. There couldn't have been him in that disqualification thing. Joe Cortez wouldn't have done no nonsense like that. Okay. So Barrera hit the Prince when they went down, and Joe Cortez gave him a warning. In the 12th and final round, Barrera trapped Hamed in a full Nelson and forced his head into the turnbuckle, resulting in a point deduction by referee Joe Cortez. But it didn't. He still got the unanimous decision. Barrera got him in a full Nelson and forced his head into the turnbuckle. Barrera wasn't a fan of those all that nonsense the Prince used to do. But ultimately, Barrera threw more harder punches and more impressive combinations than Hamed throughout the course of the fight. And Barrera was awarded the victory by a unanimous decision, with the scorecards reading 115, 112, 115, 112, 116, 111. I thought it was way wider than that, man. I don't know what they talking about, 115, 112, 115, 112. I don't even know what fight them judges was looking at, man. It was way wider than that. But he won the lineal and the IBO featherweight titles in this fight. And then on September 8th, 2001, he defeated former champion Enrique Sanchez by a 6th-round TKO. And then him and Eric Morales, too, was next. Barrera versus Morales, too. Okay. On June 22nd, 2002, this time Barrera evened it up. He defeated Morales in a rematch by a unanimous decision, successfully defending his lineal title and winning the vacant Ring Magazine title, right? But he declined Morales' WBC belt. On November 2nd, he defeated former 5-time world champion Johnny Tapia by a 12-round unanimous decision. Barrera then competed in his 60th career fight on April 12, 2003, defeating former WBC title holder Kevin Kelly by knockout in round 4. That was his 60th fight, right? And here comes Pacquiao. Barrera-Pacquiao won. Barrera and Manny. Here they go. There's Barrera on the left, Manny on the right. Barrera-Pacquiao won. On November 16th, 2003, Barrera was defeated by Filipino boxer Manny Pacquiao in the 11th round. Ain't that something? Manny coming back to fight Barrios. 2025. This man was fighting in 2003, 22 years ago, man. Wow. But anyway, hey, he's coming back. But anyway, Manny took the first fight from Barrera in the 11th round when Barrera was cornered through in the towel. Or they didn't disqualify him this time for getting on the apron? They had a good referee this time. So they threw in the towel in the 11th round, earning Pacquiao his 3rd world championship in his 3rd weight division, right? because Barrera was the recognized lineal champion, and the Ring Magazine title was also on the line when he fought Pacquiao in this fight. On June 19th, 2004, Barrera defeated former WBA bantamweight title holder Paulie Ayala in Los Angeles by a 10th round knockout. So now super featherweight, 130. So him and Morales fought at super featherweight for the third fight. I think the first two was featherweight, but this was his first fight at super featherweight against Eric Morales. Yeah, they went up a weight class for this one. Barrera, Morales 3. There you go. No, that's Johnny Tappy. That's Johnny Tappy. My bad. I done got off. That's one. Oh well. Barrera, Morales 3. On November 27th, 2004, Barrera fought Morales for the third time and became a 3-division world champion by defeating Morales in a majority decision to capture the WBC super featherweight title. So Barrera wins the rubber match 2-1 in the trilogy. And this is his third division, super featherweight. Because remember, he won super bantamweight, featherweight, and super featherweight. 4 and 5 divisions, with champion in 3 of them. Third one right here. On April 9th, 2005, Barrera retained the title with a second-round knockout against future champion Bazanki Fauna in El Paso, Texas. This win also marked Barrera's 60th career win, right? 60th career win. Wow. On September 17th of the same year, 2005, he unified his WBC super featherweight title with the IBF title by defeating the IBF title holder, Robbie Padan, by a 12-round unanimous decision in Las Vegas. Okay, yeah, I'm back on. That's him and Suarez right there. Barrera versus Suarez. No, that's not Juan Manuel. Look like Juan Manuel Marquez from the side, but no, that's Suarez. Barrera versus Suarez, okay? That's Rocky Suarez. Okay. On May 20th, 2006, Barrera defended his title against American boxer Rocky Suarez with what was announced immediately after the fight as a 12-round draw, which the judges scored 115-113, 115-113 for 115-113 for Barrera, 115-113 for Suarez, and the third had it 114-114, right? Split draw. However, tabulation errors were found in the judges' scorecards. They was trying to cheat, leading to a final score of 115-114 for Barrera, 115-114 for Suarez, and instead of 114-114, that was supposed to be 115-114 for Barrera, a split decision. Caught him trying to cheat. Caught him. So Barrera won that by split decision. They was trying to cheat Barrera on that one. He fought Suarez in a rematch fight on September 16th. This time, Barrera won by unanimous decision, with scores 117-111 and 115-113 twice. Caught him. How you gonna have 114-114 all of a sudden fire? Oh, I meant 115-114. Come on, man. Okay, Barrera versus Marquez. It is him and Juan Manuel. Barrera versus Marquez now. Okay, good time. Now, on March 17th, 2007, Barrera lost his WBC super featherweight title to fellow Mexican boxer Juan Manuel Marquez by a unanimous decision, even without counting a knockdown of Marquez that was ruled a slip by referee Jay Nady in the 7th round. Harold Letterman of HBO had to fight in favor of Barrera. Barrera claimed that the judges and referee were wrong. And he had a knockdown. He called it a slip. And Harold Letterman still gave it to him. Well, Harold Letterman, you can't really go by Harold Letterman. Harold Letterman be all over the place. I'm glad he's not a real judge. He's unofficial scorer. But anyway, Manny 2. Barrera versus Manny Pacquiao 2. There's him and Manny. This is their second fight. I think they just had 2, right? Did they have a trilogy? I'm not sure. We'll find out in a minute. Barrera versus Pacquiao 2. Excuse me. Now, Barrera fought Manny Pacquiao in a rematch fight for the WBC International Super Featherweight title on October 6, 2007 in Las Vegas. Now, Barrera was defeated by a unanimous decision with scores of 118-109, 118-109, 115-112. I think Manny won, but 115-112 was more like it. Them 118-109s was kind of wide, man. I don't know what those judges looking at either. You know, Barrera had a lot of controversy against him in his career for some reason, man. You know? Yeah, I did give Manny that fight, but 115-112 sounds more reasonable. 118-109 was way too wide, I think. Now, after the fight, Barrera expressed his desire to retire from boxing. However, no official confirmation had been given. And on February 13th, 2008, he announced to the media that he would fight the winner of the Marquez versus Pacquiao fight on March 15th. Okay? Now, the winner of this turned out to be Pacquiao by split decision. However, Pacquiao moved up to the lightweight division and got the WBC lightweight title. And the third fight between him and Barrera did not happen. But Barrera did go to lightweight. Okay, let's talk about that. He did go up to lightweight. Let's talk about him at lightweight. Yeah, we're winding down now. Let's talk about Barrera up at lightweight. Manny went to lightweight. Barrera didn't get the fight, but he did go to lightweight later on. Lightweight. Marco Antonio Barrera at age 35, ended his brief retirement and signed a 5-year contract on August 26, 2008 with promoter Don King. Don King. He moved up to the lightweight division, 135. His goal was to become the first Mexican ever to win a title in 4 different weight divisions. I think Eric Morales became the first Mexican to win in 4 weight divisions. Wait a minute, was it Eric or Julio or JCC? I don't know. Well, let me go on with this. Barrera, it was his goal to become the first Mexican ever to win a title in 4 different weight divisions. I think it was Morales. Now, on November 7th, 2008, Barrera marked his return to the ring in Chengdu, China, by knocking out Sammy Ventura in his first fight in the lightweight division. Got a knockout. Then he went up against Amir Khan. Barrera versus Amir Khan. There's him and Amir. I told you this music comes up by itself. Yeah, he fought Amir Khan. Old blast jaws. Amir could box. If he had a chin, Amir would have been bad, man. You know? Canelo, that knockout was vicious. Canelo knocked Amir out. Man, I said, oh no. Canelo done messed around and killed Amir in there, man. Should have never went up there messing with Canelo in the first place. You know, damn well Canelo was too big and too good for him, man. But he went up there and see what happened to him. Okay, let's get to Amir and Barrera. Okay, yeah. I was trying to go up, but I'm at the top. Okay, we only got like a couple fights left. Barrera versus Khan. Now, it was announced on January 15th, 2009 that Barrera would return to the ring against British boxer Amir Khan. Now, even with Barrera getting on in years, this was seen to be the biggest test of Amir Khan's career, right? And Frank Warren promoted the fight, which took place on March 14th, 2009 at the MEN Arena. Now, Barrera lost the fight by a 5th round technical decision. Now, in the first round, was a controversy in this one too. In the first round, the 2 fighters clashed heads, resulting in a deep gash above Barrera's forehead, which bled throughout the fight. Ringside doctors stopped the fight at the beginning of the 5th round. The serious clash, the referee didn't have the doctor look at it until the 5th round, right? Due to the severity of the cut. It was already severe. The judge, okay, and once they looked at it at the beginning of the 5th round, they stopped the fight due to the severity of the cut. Now, if they would have looked at it earlier, they would have stopped it. But it made it past the 4th round, so they went to the judges' scorecards, and the judges scored it 50-45, 50-45, and 50-44, all for Amir Khan. At the point of the stoppage, he was declared the winner by technical decision. However, there was some controversy over the time of the stoppage, as Barrera had sustained the cut during the very first round, and that it would be constantly examined before the referee officially stopped the fight in the 5th round. So Barrera, they saying it should have been stopped. It should have been a referee stoppage with like a what they call it, a RTKO or something, where it doesn't stop before the 4th round to go to the cards, right? No contest. So, but they waited till the 5th round and stopped it and gave it to Amir Khan. I told you, there's something against Barrera, man. I don't understand it. There was a lot of controversy going against him in his career. Crazy. You know, it should have been, the cut was severe. It happened in the 1st round. But he waited till the 5th round to stop it, to make sure they could go to the cards. That's what it seemed like to me. But anyway, on March 26, 2009, as a result of the controversial stoppage timing, Barrera's promoter, Don King, filed a protest with the British Boxing Board of Control, the WBA, and the WBO on behalf of Barrera, claiming the accidental clash of heads should have resulted in the fight being ruled a no contest. Under the rules governing the fight, had the fight been stopped prior to the end of the 4th round due to the accidental headbutt, the official ruling would have been a no contest, requiring an immediate rematch. Yeah, but they waited till the 5th round on purpose so they could give it to Amir Khan because they saw he was winning. Yeah, they cheated again, man. Now, the referee was Dave Parrish, however, waited until midway through the 4th round before asking the ringside physician to even look at the wound. And it happened in the 1st round. He waited till the 4th round to look at it. But why didn't he stop it then? Then he waited till one more round to make an official fight and then stopped it. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That was crazy. Okay. Now, before this fight, Barrera had fought Frutis Rojas on January 31st, 2009 in Jalisco. Rojas was disqualified for a headbutt, which left Barrera with a bad cut over his left eye. The cut could have jeopardized Barrera's scheduled fight against Khan. Despite this injury, he recovered in time for his fight with Khan, and the fight went ahead regardless. And that was the same side where he cut with the gash against Khan, right? Same side of the head. Yeah. So yeah, that's suspicious. Okay. So comeback. After the loss to Khan, Barrera took a period of inactivity. The former 3-time world champion fought on June 26, 2010 against Adelton de Jesus of Brazil. The 10-round fight took place at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, in the United States. And the fight was an undercard of the Latin Fury 15 event, which featured Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus John Duddy. Now, Barrera dominated de Jesus for 10 rounds, winning it by decision. On February 12, 2011, he fought Jose Arias of the Dominican Republic and scored a TKO in the 2nd round. And that was his final fight. That was the babyface assassin final fight. Okay. Outside of boxing. Now, Barrera's fights were promoted by Oscar De La Hoya, under the organization of Golden Boy Promotion. He trained at De La Hoya's training facility in Big Bear, California. He did sign with Don King later in his career, though. Since January 2009, Barrera has been a commentator for ESPN Deportes weekly boxing show that airs live on Friday nights on the network. Barrera's co-host is Sports Center anchor Jorge Eduardo Sanchez. And he's a natural left-handed boxer who fought in a conventional orthodox stance. There you have it. The life and career of the babyface assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. Okay. Now let's talk about some of those other four kings of the 2000s. Juan Manuel Marquez. Okay. Juan Manuel Marquez. How good was Juan Manuel Marquez? That's the question. Glad y'all asked. Okay. All right, Juan Manuel Marquez, where are you? Let's see. There it is. Here we go. Yeah. Bear with me for a moment. One moment. Okay. We're going to talk about Juan Manuel Marquez briefly. We're going to get to link time like 2:30. Oh, man. Oh, I know what I didn't do. It is Juan. No, that's not Juan Manuel Marquez. It's the baby-faced assassin. I got Juan Manuel. That's Juan Manuel Marquez right there. Yep. Okay, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about some of these other four kings. Juan Manuel Marquez. We already talked about Barrera. Eric Morales. Manny Pacquiao. Now, Marquez and Morales had a little back and forth after they retired, too, because they never fought, you know. We're gonna discuss that a little bit, too. Here we go. How good of a boxer was Juan Manuel Marquez? Like I said, glad y'all asked. Now, Juan Manuel Marquez is a legitimately great fighter, a true elite Hall of Fame caliber champion, okay? Most fans remember Juan Manuel Marquez for his fights with Manny Pacquiao, one of the great modern rivalries. But there was a lot more than Juan Manuel Marquez than those fights, and his career warrants his place in the Hall of Fame. Okay? Now, not a great deal is known about the childhood of Juan Manuel Marquez, except that he was born into a poor Mexican family, and for he and his brother, also a boxer, Rafael. Fighting was his ticket out, Rafael Marquez. But his nickname, Dynamite, says it all. Great career as an amateur. Marquez had an amateur record of 82 wins, 4 losses, with 72 wins by knockout. That's great for amateurs, you know, because you only got 3 rounds. I think mostly concentrating on, you know, getting points and winning those 3 rounds in the amateurs. But Juan Manuel had an 87.8% knockout ratio in the amateurs. Wow. Not bad at all, man. Yeah, 82 wins, 72 knockouts. Then he cut his amateur career short to enter the professional ranks. Juan Manuel did, okay? Cut his amateur career short to enter the pro ranks. And you think his amateur career was good, he had an even greater professional career. He made his pro debut at age 19 on May 28, 1993. Talk about Juan Manuel Marquez now. Losing by way of disqualification to Javier Duran. Marquez then went undefeated for 6 years, okay? Lost his debut fight, then didn't lose again for 6 years, compiling a 29-0 record after his initial loss, right? Defeating future champions Agapito Sanchez, Julio Gervasio, and Alfred Cote. In 1997, Juan Manuel won the NABO featherweight title, which was a junior title, which he defended 7 times. During this time, he was repeatedly called to as the best fighter in the world without a title. Now, Marquez was WBO featherweight champion, Nassim Hamad's mandatory challenger, for just under 2 years. But the WBO allowed Hamad to duck Juan Manuel instead, okay? Allowed him to duck him. Marquez received his second chance at a world title on January 2nd, 2003, when he defeated former four-time featherweight champion Manuel Medina and captured the vacant IBF featherweight title. And Marquez had previously lost a highly controversial decision to Freddie Norwood for the WBA featherweight title. And he received his first world title when his fight was stopped in the 7th round after Marquez knocked Medina down for a second time. Okay, so that was his first world title. But he had a controversial loss to Freddie Norwood for the WBA earlier. That was his first shot. Okay. And they allowed Prince Nassim to duck him for years, man. For years. Mm-hmm. So then, Marquez then defeated Derek Gainer later in the year in the unification fight to win the WBA featherweight title and become the WBA champion, WBA super champion, right? Then on March 17, 2007, Marquez moved up in weight and became the WBC super featherweight champion by defeating Marco Antonio Barrera by unanimous decision. We just talked about that one, right? Marquez moved up again to lightweight to fight ring lightweight champion Joe Casamayor. On September 13, 2008, he defeated Casamayor in the 11th round after 2 knockdowns and captured his 6th world title in 3 weight classes. Okay? Juan Manuel was rolling through him, man. 6th world title in 3 weight classes. On July 18th, 2009, Juan Manuel moved up to the welterweight division and fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, the fight was a contract weight, catch weight, 144 pounds, right? On July 18, 2009 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, but was postponed due to an injury to Mayweather. The fight was rescheduled and held on September 19, 2009. Now, during the official weigh-in, Marquez weighed in at 142 pounds and Mayweather weighed in at 146 pounds. Floyd was 2 over, thereby incurring a financial penalty as he was 2 pounds over the catch weight. It was 144. It was late because Marquez was smallish and 147 was big for him. Yeah. That's why him and Cotto never fought, because Marquez was smallish and him and Cotto could never agree on a weight. But that would have been a great fight. Juan Manuel Marquez and Miguel Cotto, Mexico versus Puerto Rico too. That would have been fire, but never happened. That's when they got away from us. But they were in talks, but they could never agree on a weight. It would have had to been a catch weight, because like the Floyd fight, 147. Marquez was a small guy, man. You know, yeah. So yeah, but Floyd was 2 pounds over, so he incurred financial penalties. So. Yeah, Floyd incurred financial penalties. It was later discovered that both parties had agreed just before the weigh-in to allow Mayweather to fight over the catch weight, with Mayweather paying an additional $600,000. So on July 31st, 2010, Marquez returned to lightweight and fought Juan Diaz, right? Turned back down to lightweight. Now we're going to have to get the link after this, okay? Get some extra time today. Now, Marquez holds the record of being the oldest champion in the history of the lightweight division. Okay? On July 16th, 2011, Marquez moved up to junior welterweight to fight Lycar Ramos. And that was on July 16th in Mexico City. Okay? On November 12th, oh my goodness, I done ended my daggone display. Excuse me for a minute. My big hands. Oh boy. But how's everybody today? We get ready to drop the link in a minute. We're gonna finish up on Juan Manuel. Just looking at some of the other four kings, since we talked about one of the four kings of the 2000s, the baby-faced assassin today, Marco Antonio Barrera, who's talking about Mr. Dynamite, Juan Manuel Marquez. Now, finish this up. We're going to get some link time and talk about these great fighters. You know, especially the four kings of the 2000s. Barrera, Marquez, Morales, Pacquiao. 13 fights in between them. I'm trying to get back down to where I was at. Man, my finger hit the damn button. I'm sorry, y'all. Here we go. We just finished fighting Floyd, right? Yeah. On November 12th, Marquez returned once more to welterweight and lost to Pacquiao by a controversial majority decision. Yeah, controversial. On April 14th, 2012, Marquez returned yet again to junior welterweight and beat Ukrainian contender Serhiy Kretchenko. Yeah, he was bouncing up and down by unanimous decision to capture the interim WBO junior welterweight title. Now, the WBO later upgraded him to full status WBO champion. Marquez returned to welterweight one final time to fight Pacquiao, a fourth time. Pacquiao went to the well one time too many, and he won with a thrilling knockout over Pacquiao that time. Marquez finished his career with his last two fights at junior welterweight. Finished with a record of 56 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 63% knockout rate. Juan Manuel Marquez. And they say he was hoodwinked by Mayweather. Mayweather fans have a tendency to babble about his victory over Marquez, but there are a few things they fail to mention, such as Marquez had never ever fought above lightweight before, and Floyd had been fighting at welterweight for 4 years before their 2009 fight. Not only had Juan Manuel Marquez never fought above lightweight, but the offer Floyd made was, as always, geared to make it an unfair fight. Right? The fair offer would have been to meet Marquez at junior welterweight, right? But they put the catch weight on at 144. Okay. But there you have it. Wait a minute, I'm not finished yet. Yeah, Juan Manuel Marquez, right? He was ranked for 18 straight years, including 3 straight years at number 1 and 4 more straight years by Ring as champion. Marquez fought a who's who of the best of his era. Julio Gervasio, Agapito Sanchez, Alfred Cote, Daniel Jimenez, Robbie Peter, Manuel Medina, Derek Gainer, Orlando Salido, Marco Antonio Barrera, Joe Casamayor, Juan Diaz twice, Manny Pacquiao 4 times, Mike Alvarado, Freddie Norwood, Chris John, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Timothy Bradley. Well, how about is that for a resume right there, man? Wow. That's fire. F-I-Y-A, fire. Marquez had a record of 14 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw against former, current, or future world champions. How good was Juan Manuel Marquez? In its analysis of the greatest 45 fights pound for pound over the past 45 years, Fight Game made Juan Manuel number 31. Marquez was not a flashy fighter in the style of some of his contemporaries. He was a truly gifted technician who mastered the intricate and the mundane of boxing. He rarely wasted a step and depended on a stout defense and outstanding counterpunching. Yeah, he was a fire counterpuncher. Never stopped in his entire 21-year career. He won 71.4% of his fights by stoppage. Never stopped. Never stopped. The Bleacher Report called Juan Manuel the most overlooked fighter of his generation. Marquez is part of a rare group to be consistently ranked for 18 straight years, to be ranked in 4 weight classes, and to be ranked in 3 different decades. Boxing writer Ralph Longo says, Marquez is an elite all-time fighter, one of the best that's ever stepped foot inside the squared circle. Juan Manuel Marquez. Now we're gonna get some link time, okay? Yeah, that's one of my favorites, Juan Manuel. Not flashy, blue collar, just get in there and get the job done. Okay, never stopped. Just get in there and get it in. That was Juan Manuel to a T right there, man. Get in the ring and get it in. Okay, let's get some link time now. How's everybody today? It's Monday. We are right back at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. We got the tomorrow we got the Mike Mazik. What's up? Hey Mike, it said you sent me a cash app and I sent it back. I don't know what that was about. I ain't sending no cash app back. I was looking at it yesterday. Yeah. Did you get it back, Mike? And the thing said you returned it. Mike Mazik sent you a cash app and you returned it. It wasn't me. I ain't doing no returning. Yeah, I didn't know what that was all about. Well, that's what it said, Mike. I returned. So I don't know what that was on. But salute Mike Mazik in the building. Okay, we can make it some link time. Yeah, but that's what it said, Mike. I returned. Wow. They must be two Cash Sports. This one ain't returning nothing. That was the other Cash Sports that did that. Yeah. Well, but salute Mike. Mike always supporting. So. Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do remember the body snatcher passed away this weekend. Mike McCallum, 68 years old. Mm-hmm. See, he hadn't been sick or anything. Just I don't know. He was driving in his car, all feeling bad or something. I think he died at the hospital. Well, we're gonna remember him in his career tomorrow. The body snatcher. They tell him he had to have a serious body attack. He called the body snatcher, right? Yeah, Mike McCallum. Then Wednesday we're gonna talk about some trainers, some all-time trainers. Thursday, boxing in the States. We got a couple more states left. We got Wisconsin this week. We're at the end of the alphabet now, and then I think we got Wisconsin and XYZ. Wyoming. I think Wyoming is the last one. Yeah. Ain't no state start with Y or Z, is it, or X? Yugoslavia, that's not a state in the United States. I'm just kidding. I ain't that crazy. Yugoslavia. Yeah. It's June. We got some big cards coming up this month too. Yeah. Another DB3. I don't think Tank and Lamar Roach is not in June anymore, right? I heard somebody say August or something. I don't know. That Tank and Jake Paul nonsense, man. I don't want to see that. Mm-hmm. Be the first Tank fight I haven't bought in years. I damn sure ain't buying no Tank and Jake Paul. Not in this lifetime. Okay, here's the link. Okay, Mike. Yeah, it said I sent it back. I'm like, what? That's the other Cash Sports. This Cash Sports ain't sending no money back. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the link. I think. I can't get back to the screen. I'm not a technology person. Yeah, they had Eric Morales said Juan Manuel had a little back and forth after their careers because they didn't fight, and they was each blaming the other one why it didn't happen. Yeah, it was crazy. They was talking back and forth at each other. It was into their retirement, both of their retirement. Let's see. Let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, that up. Says first Eric Morales hits back at Juan Manuel, then Juan Manuel hits back at Eric Morales. I don't know why they didn't fight. All the other combinations had 13 fights between those four. That was the only one that didn't happen. Eric Morales and Juan Manuel. I don't know what happened. They was right around the same weight classes for years, you know? I mean, years. I can't find it. Oh, good. There's Thomas Hill. I ain't got to find it. Thomas Hill is here. What's up, T. Hill?
You got the best hand, man.
No, I'm just.
Tell me, man. I'm out here watering this hay, listening to you talk that boxing, dog.
The water in the hay? What, you on a farm or something?
Nah, man. Grass look like hay.
Oh, okay.
It's been so hot. It's been scorching. We had some rain, but I guess it wasn't enough rain.
Oh,
this
yeah.
bad boy in certain areas, patches got all kind of brown spots.
Yeah.
I'm saturating them brown spots so that I can get them back green again.
Yeah. Okay. You was
But
saying,
yeah,
hey,
man.
where's T. Hill at? So what happened the weekend, man?
Weekend was busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was busy. That's some lot of stuff, man. Like I said, we got some work that got to be done with the church, as far as the roof, the parking lot, and the freaking gate. We got to put a gate around there because people be coming over there and just like vandalizing, taking defecations and urinations upon the building premises and all kind of stuff. So we got to figure out how to get all that done because that stuff grand total almost $90,000. So yeah, you know, anytime they see any kind of project that's big like that, especially for a church, they're gonna mark up prices like a champ. So
you know that. Yeah.
We over there trying to figure out how that's going.
Like that. You had like a link or something. I'm taking donations or something. Like,
oh no, I didn't put no link up. That's what D. I was talking to you because you said you hadn't seen me in a while, and I was like, yeah, I ain't really been texting a lot, or because we were up there trying to get that stuff taken care of for the whole past week. So I wasn't pretty much everywhere until like I had time, and that mostly be like right before I go to work and then after work. So I haven't really been on a lot of places unless it's at a certain time, because at that time I'll be over at that handling that. So that's where I was. I just listened. I just listened. I sure did.
What did you think about the performances, Maul and Plant and all of that?
I thought you could see the result of not being active with Plant. The result of being extremely hungry and trying to take advantage of an opportunity with Resendez, and he's on top of that. He's a skilled fighter, and he's pretty damn aggressive. I see. This is what I really see, man. And I mean, Charlo. For Charlo, man, I thought outstanding performance. What I thought even more so than that was the fact that he was healthy mentally. Yeah. And I love to see that about him, man, because the last time I saw him in the ring, man, he didn't look too good. He didn't even look like he wanted to be in the ring. Even though he won the fight, he didn't look like he wanted to be in the ring, which speaks ultimately to how talented he is as a fighter. So, you know, I still would love to see the Tramal Charlo Keller Plant fight. Yeah. But yesterday, Saturday was confirmation to me that Plant ain't got nothing for Charlo. Charlo is one of the best fighters in boxing. And if his mind is right, he's a problem for a lot of people. Because he has a tremendous balance between like technical skill and actually talent and power. So, you know, you got to watch out for them. His jab is like a freaking machine gun jab. That bad boy hits you and it leaves an lasting impression with you. I mean, he literally cut his face up with jabs all night long. And I don't give much stock in no cornflake, Lamana, but that's another person who has been going through stuff, who has been battling mental, you know, problems, and on top of that, been out the ring. So for him to come in there and perform like that, man, you got to give him his kudos. Yeah, very impressed, man. Very impressive. I like.
I just hope he come back now. Don't take another 2 years. Get another fight in there this year. It's only what June.
I think if his mind if his mind is right, he'll do that. But his mind got to be right. If his mind ain't right, then you never know. Because when you battling stuff like that, man, it's not easy.
It's hard.
People can make fun of it and all kind of stuff and say all kind of things, man. But it's never easy. But if he do get Plant in the ring, it's gonna be bad for Plant. I could just say I could see that right now. And while I don't,
you think that's ready, Nate? Plant?
Well, if I were Plant, I would at least try to get that get back. But if you lose that fight, then it's a possibility that they don't even try to make the other fight in today's climate. And that's another thing you got to factor into these things. Like today's climate, you got to place a person like Devin Haney, who took a loss and got it taken away, but people really just hold it to him no matter what and treat him like dirt, and then he go up in there and fight the way he did fight, and that just doesn't make it look any better. So it's kind of now hard.
Right.
Yeah, no, and now Devin Haney's stuck between a rock and a hard place because, like, where can he go to get a fight? That's a safe fight. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's why the rematch ain't. Because look, you said the only reason why he beat you is because he was cheating. Now, if you fight him again, he ain't gonna be able to cheat, right? What happens if he beats you in the same fashion or worse? Because, like I said, man, Ryan Garcia didn't take that fight serious neither. He wasn't training and doing all that other stuff that he needed to do.
Clown, yes. He didn't take
and this time it caught up to him when he fought Rolly. He probably thought Rolly wasn't gonna be much of a challenge neither. So he wasn't putting the dedication into that fight as it was too, and Rolly was taking the time to put in the dedication to the craft and came out there and fought a beautiful fight.
I know.
So if you Devin Haney, and more importantly, because now we got people who, because they're fans of fighters, it's like they in the ring. You're a fan of Devin Haney, and he go up in there, and the only reason why he lost that first fight to Ryan was because of Osterine and Andrelon and whatever else they say he was on.
Right.
What happens when he go up in there and he get his ass sparked out this time and it's free and clear? That's going to be a really bad looking, and then that's going to be one he's not going to be able to come back from because of how we hold fighters today, how we value what they do in the ring, and on top of that, the stuff that he said and did prior to the fight and after the fight.
Yeah, that's gonna come back to haunt him.
Yeah, man, you can't talk reckless like that, and then stuff play out a different way. And then when it plays out a different way, you say the only reason why it played out that way is because he was cheating.
Right.
Because this is what I will say about Ryan. If Ryan truly was cheating, that wasn't the first time.
Couldn't have been.
No, that wasn't the first time.
No.
And that means that everybody else who was fighting him was fighting some form of a cheat.
That's
including the person that they're trying to devalue with this performance anyway, in Tank Davis. Now, transitioning to Tank Davis, the fight with Caleb Plant further affirmed to me what Tank has really been saying in interviews when it comes to the people that they say he's scared of fighting. Mm-hmm. Yo, Plant was supremely skilled. Resendez was extremely skilled as well too, but more importantly, Resendez got dog, and on top of that, he got pressure, and he coming. So now you take the fact that he's putting his punches in places that my man ain't ready for. He ain't got nothing to keep him off of him, and on top of that, he's hitting him with some pretty nice stuff. They leaving a lasting impression on it. They got to Plant to the point where he not as enthused to move around or to offer opposition. And that's why I can't wait for these fights to get made, man, because I think this day when these fights get made and they get in the ring gonna tell us a whole lot about a lot of people's beliefs.
The ring gonna tell
about
the
these fighters.
How you doing, fella?
What's up, you fine, Arnie? How you doing today?
Um, I'm good. I literally just got off work,
Yeah.
and I saw you guys talking, and I was like, I thought you were gonna talk about Barrera on Friday, but something happened, right?
Yeah, technical difficulty. Friday.
Okay.
So I did it today, yeah. Yeah, you was in here Friday, so I had to cut it short. I couldn't get nothing. I couldn't get it going.
Man, don't even worry about that, man. Barrera, Vasquez, Morales, Marquez,
When
man, they
when
gonna
are
get
you
us on.
gonna
Do it again?
when are you gonna do something on Mike McCallum?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Remembering Mike McCallum
Uh,
tomorrow. Yeah. The body snatcher. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
body
I
snatch.
hmm Yeah, we're gonna honor him tomorrow.
Man, hey, do me a favor. Go back and research what day he was born.
Okay. Yeah.
So we can do that right now. I mean, if define, if
Oh
you can
yeah.
do that right now, see
I'm
what day it is. See what.
I'm
I got it.
driving right now.
I got it
Oh,
written down. I gotta
I'm
find it. I
sorry.
had wrote it down earlier to you.
okay. So what day was that, man? Was it on a Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, or
Oh, you
Thursday?
mean the actual? Oh, I got the date. I don't know what day. Oh, you mean the actual day?
Yeah, but if
Like
you
a
put
week.
that day into the calendar on your phone or
Yeah,
in
that's
your
right.
computer, it'll tell you exactly what day that was.
Yeah.
And say whatever day that was, let it be the day that you do. If it's on Monday through Friday, let that be the day
Mm-hmm.
you do the Mike McCallum.
Yes, that's still good.
Hey, that's interesting. You're talking about like doing it on the exact like if he was born on a Wednesday, do the show on
Right.
Wednesday, right? I
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
when
I like.
give him proper
Yeah, I
respect.
wrote it down. It. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I like it.
Looking at it this morning. Okay.
Obviously, if he was born on a Saturday or a Sunday, then obviously we're gonna have to juggle
Friday,
the day.
Friday or a Monday. Yeah,
Exactly.
unless you want to come on and do a special show on one of those days, special dedication. But I mean, that would
Right.
be perfect homage to my man in
Oh yeah.
appreciation for what he put in the ring. But I
The
thought the
body
fights, man.
snatcher.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I thought the fights this week were excellent, man. I thought that both cards were excellent. On top of that, man, I thought that that top rank card, not the top rank. I'm sorry, the card with Caleb Plant, the PBC card was definitely pay per view worthy, but we got it for free, and I'm thankful for that because the boys put on in that ring, man. You saw some true talent. Hey, shout out to Kyron Davis, man, because he took a beating up in there. But
Oh
as I
yeah.
told my man Big Supreme, he ain't going nowhere. One thing about that dude is he hella durable, and that boy don't play. He
Oh
ain't
yeah.
gonna just get him out of there. But what you do see is Joe Ellie is a problem. He's a hell of a problem. And yeah, it ain't gonna be easy to deal with him. Boy, nice, and
Like
he
right
he
now.
can,
Oh yeah. What? He's 160 or what?
yeah, 160.
So what? 160 or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
160.
That dude's gonna be a real problem. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And Cormel too, right? Cormel was there too, I think.
Cormel had a shot. Now
That's
I
right.
wish he was getting a little bit more TV time, but he was in there before us on the prelims. But he had a hell of an opponent up in there, a good test, and passed
Okay.
that test with flying colors, man. Took him the distance, so he got rounds in. He understood now that there's some styles out there that he got to work against and work on because they can present
I
problems.
got a I got a question for you. Well, for both of you actually. Would you guys say that after Abdullah Mason, Cormel Moton is the top American prospect?
The top American prospects
After after
for
after
weight, I
after
think
Mason, after Abdullah Mason, I mean.
I would say that I think I think everything comes into play when you talk about that. So when you got lineage, that holds a lot of weight. So Emiliano is somebody you gotta really, really watch for. But
Oh
I
yeah.
think I think also Keith Cologne, man. I love me some Keith Cologne.
You
Keith
said
Cologne, he
American, right?
doing
Emiliano is Mexican, right?
nah, he American, bro.
Is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he of Latin descent, Mexican descent, but
Right,
born and
right.
raised out here,
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
California,
Emiliano,
California.
yeah.
So I don't know. I would put Emiliano probably in front of Termel, I think. Okay. That would.
I think well hell, Emiliano got a lot of talent too.
Yeah.
Carmel got a lot of talent, man. He just got to get his wherewithal under him, man. He get that wherewithal on him how to really truly fully work in that ring, man, and how to work smarter, not harder. It'll be a lot easier for him going up.
Okay.
But I like Carmel, man. I always enjoy watching his fights. He's entertaining,
Yeah, I
man.
like
He's
him too.
engaging. You know, I'm glad that he's trying to separate himself from the tank stigma and just work on his own merit, man. Because that's what I think people need to do more so than anything.
Right. That's true.
That's one of the things I did not like about Rivera. I didn't like the fact that he was like the next Ali.
I know.
Nah, that'll be the
Oh,
first Rivera.
Michel Rivera.
Yeah.
I think would you say that that was more like a tribute more than anything, or do you think that like he got a little too carried away?
I think it was a tribute at first that, started to take on persona when it became successful for him. Like when he was doing big things.
Okay.
And I think that it helped him to, man, when you're concerned comparing yourself to the greatest, you start to feel, especially when things come easy, like, hey, yo, maybe I'm this guy. And I think that helps him
Gotcha.
to experience that setback. Although he was in a tremendous fight with somebody, and I think he was too big fighting at that thing, man. So it's kind of hard when you got to cut down and you fighting somebody that ain't got to make so harsh a cut. That's why I give Devin Haney a lot of credit for his Loma fight because he had to make a hell of a cut as opposed to Loma. Loma ain't got to cut much.
Yeah. Right after that fight, he went up. So that's the proof right there.
Well, hell, 3 fights before that, he probably should have went up, but he did it because he wanted to quote unquote do whatever it took to try to get some kind of notoriety. Because before that, he was really truly flying under the radar, and he couldn't stand that, especially the radar to somebody.
You know who I think? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say real quick that I thought the weight training really affected Josh Taylor, for example. I thought he stayed too long at what was the 140, and I thought he should have been a welterweight a long time ago, bro. Probably after Khabib. But I mean, that's just me.
Nah,
Yeah, I
that's
thought
everybody.
so too.
Yeah, everybody feels that way.
Yeah. He was.
Yeah.
And because of that, man, because he stayed too long, he affected his career. His career is never
Oh
going to
yeah.
be possibly what it could have been because he stayed too long at a smaller weight class because he didn't want to go up.
That's the way
Right.
it goes all day. It's Friday, he was going on Friday. It took me all that time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And
1956.
ultimately that's what happened with Spence. Spence did the same thing.
Might have been done. Oh no, but
I think Spence first fight 54, and then after that he went down to 47 and stayed there for so long.
Yeah.
first fight was 54. I wonder why he didn't just stay up there, at 54.
Well, because of his connection to the Charlo brothers.
Right, that's right. He didn't want to be in that. Yeah.
Because if you about collecting belts and they got a belt, that means you got to fight them.
Yeah. So he let Jamel, Spence was always big too. He could have made 54 easy all the years. I think.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And even though I feel and I still believe that Devin Haney lost that fight, I still believe he put on a hell of a
Me too.
performance because he was depleted. You could tell he was really depleted up in there. But I think that it also hindered his career staying so long at 35. That's why he only got one fight at 40, and there's only really one fight that he's probably going to ever fight at 47, and then I think everything is going to be catch weights because he don't want to be fighting people that big. So like I said,
he can be negative, man. Doing that weight bullying, that can be negative.
And now he's forced to fight between a bubble. Like he's going to have to make like catch weight fights and pick the right opponents, man, because like he's had a chance to. He said he wanted to go up there and then do the same thing that he did at 35 and 40, but he only took one fight at 40, and that was good enough. Then it became something else. So it altered the course of what he had originally set out to do, and said that he was going to make that undisputed, or at the very least unified. My man wasn't able to do it, man. He didn't spend so much time.
You're talking about Josh Taylor or who?
I'm talking about Devin now, but that applies to Josh Taylor too. And it really applies to anybody who spends too long at a freaking weight class that they don't belong in. You gotta realize, man, with Devin came in at 17, 15, 16 or something like that, at that same weight class. He was there for, and he was there for like until he was 24, dog. So that's a long time growing up from a kid to a man.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of cut after a while, yo. So it had to take effect on him. So that's why when I say, yo, I thought he lost the fight, but he fought a hell of a fight. I thought he fought a hell of a fight being depleted.
Loma?
Yeah,
no, the Loma fight, yeah. Okay. I thought he lost it, but at the same time, he fought a hell of a fight because Loma's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah, and absolutely.
So what you think about those fights this weekend, the Fine Iron?
The Devin Loma, I had Loma 7-5, but I'm with you, man. Like, it was a hell of a fight, bro. It was super entertaining, and actually, I gained a lot more respect for Devin in that fight. Even though I thought he lost, I was like, he really showed up, and honestly, bro, I ain't got Devin losing to too many people. I mean, we'll see, because he didn't get the best performance against Ramirez. We understand that, but I'll still give him a pass, bro, because he had to deal with the whole Ryan Garcia situation. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds with that one, but he's been out of the ring for a year, and I mean, I'll give him a pass. Like, for example, if Charlo would have underperformed, I would say the same thing. I think you gotta give people the benefit of the doubt in that situation.
Yeah.
Now with that being said, though, what I want to see Devin with is Teofimo, bro. Sign me up for that one, bro. Honestly, that's the fight I want to see.
Well, I'm gonna comment on what you just said, and then I'm gonna ask you what Kaz asked me. But on that Teofimo tip, the only way I want to see that fight is if they're truly not interested in running the rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. If neither team is pushing for that, then I don't really want to see that fight. And I would much rather see Teofimo, because both believe they can win. I think that both of them find themselves in a conundrum where, they can't really fight too many fighters in and around the division that they are at or that they want to go to. So they got to pick wisely, because how they've looked in certain performances and how they look against certain types of styles. And when you move up, I think there's some of these fighters that are riddled with that performance or that style that they don't really look good against. So I think that would be a great fight to replace the rematch. Kaz had asked this, man, what you thought about the fights this weekend?
Honestly, bro, man, that's a good one because Caleb Plant is one of my favorite fighters, right? But it seems to be the same thing always with him, right? The first half of the fight, he, wins at least 5 rounds, and then the second half of the fight, he just plummets, And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's done, but man, that was a tough one, bro. That was pretty hard to watch because he wasn't reacting well to the shots by Resende. And Charlo, I mean, Charlo did what he does. Charlo, I think, I don't know if he's going to get the Canelo fight. I don't think so.
Nah,
That could be a great build up, getting revenge for Bro and all that. But Canelo, I don't think Canelo got Bud Crawford and then he got 2 more fights before he retired. So
yeah.
I don't believe that. I was impressed with Khalil Cole though. I did like Khalil Cole. He established the jab and just busted Gallegos up. And who was the other guy? Bektemir Melikusiev. I mean, that was a great fight, but I don't think he's that good, honestly.
He's good for
I
television.
don't want to be.
He's good for television. No,
Sorry?
he's good for television. He's good for television. Like if you want to see a fight, then you watch his fight. But if you put him in there against a seasoned boxer, yeah, he's gonna get taken to school.
Right. I think he's the. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, right? But I think he's the Timu version of Israel Madrimov. Because the Uzbek fighters, they got the style, herky jerky. They make it really rough for you. But I don't know. I just see too many holes in his game, And MJ fought, but I didn't see the MJ fight personally, so I can't comment on that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one as well either. I agree with what you said about Beck the Bully. I think that, he's good for TV. If you want to see somebody get in there and fight, he going to provide that for you. But when he get up in there against somebody that's seasoned, yeah, it's going to be problems for him.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
I did like the card. I thought the card was good. I thought the PBC card was really good. I agree with you with Plant, and I was just telling him that to me, Plant is the dichotomy that will be the case for the people who say Tank is running from said fighters. I think that Plant is an excellent boxer. I don't know if it's his conditioning or if it's just he don't have what it takes to continuously keep folks off of him. But in every fight, even the fights that he's won, for the most part, where they went the distance, he is waned. As the fight grows longer, his performance doesn't grow stronger. It doesn't stay the same. It starts to drop off. And when it starts to drop off against certain folk, man, it don't translate well for him in that ring. And unfortunately, that was the case for him. Like I said, I wouldn't mind if he just jumped straight into the Charlo fight because I want to see that no matter what.
A lot of great fights.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to me, Saf Judah had the same problem. Some fighters just have that problem. They're very different as the fight goes on.
Yeah.
Like they are one way in the first 5, 6, 7 rounds, and then just a completely different way. A lot of some legends are actually like that. Unfortunately.
But see, this is my problem with him, though. Even in wins where he didn't get a knockout, but even in some wins where he did get a knockout, he was waning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is always the problem. So, like I said, I don't know if it's conditioning, if it's mental, because I know Kershaw could pitch immaculate in the regular season all the way to 9 innings. Well, I'm going to always use that as an example because I'm a Dodger fan, bro. That Mickey getting the 6th inning in the playoffs, and his just comes unglued. And all that he was in the regular season comes undone in a heartbeat. And I just don't know if that's mental, bro, because that I know for Kershaw is mental. Because it only happens in the playoffs. It never happens in the regular season.
I know. And that's something Kershaw, he just unraveled in the playoffs, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
at the you could be pitching a masterpiece, Cash, and then next thing you know, that sixth inning comes, that fool unravels.
He just crack.
I'm laughing because it's a perfect analogy, bro. Honestly, I'm laughing because it's a perfect analogy. Honestly, I think Peyton Manning was kind of like that too before he finally broke through. You know, Peyton Manning had that stigma of being the best regular season quarterback, but then he finally broke through. You know,
Lamar Jackson
we'll see, man.
started
We'll
in
see.
that category too, man. Slowly but surely. He's into that. Like you said, win the big one. You know. He's getting there. Yeah.
All right, fellas, I gotta go. Catch you on the next one, okay? God bless you both.
Okay, T. That's all I got.
Oh, for sure, man. Well, once again, wonderful show, man. Thanks for providing us an outlet where we can actually enjoy and listen to true boxing talk. Shout out to the people who were just looking in, as my man Jay Hardcore says, the Peekaboo crew or the Voyeurs, the mighty Voyeurs. So shout out to the people in the chat that came through. Shout out to the people that's just coming by on the playback, man. Hope you enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to Cash Sports, the box historian, for giving us that history lesson on a great fighter. A great fighter who, unfortunately, if you don't like certain fighters, they use to denigrate you by saying of his style, but his style produced so many great fights and so many historic moments. And shout out to boxing, man. We had a win this weekend. And, you know, catch my man Just Do on Just Do Boxing. 2 o'clock. My man come on at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Be coming on shortly thereafter. Class concludes, man. Shout out to Cash Sports Boxing, the box story, man. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. I'm out.